Everybody, thanks for watching. This will definitely be a awesome, impactful, insightful session with Dave Vellante. He's co-founder of SiliconANGLE, theCUBE, and you'll see he's got his fingers in a lot of other things as well. Our initial title topic was the future of data in the cloud, but as we're prepping, he said, hey, we should also throw in there a topic of IT spend, which is even near and dear to everybody's hearts and everybody's that's selling to the C-suite and companies overall. This is our, what are we here, 107th episode. Anybody watching, you can go to salescommunity.com and you can see the prior episodes that we've had, as well as the lineup that we have upcoming. We're booked out, I think, about 18 months or so now. And for those that are members, thank you very much. For those that are not, you can go to salescommunity.com. You can, there's two links in the upper left-hand corner. One of them is to pay, but I would recommend you do the one that says winter free, and you get a free year membership there. And also very fortunate to have an impressive advisory board of a lot of great industry luminaries and executives such as Dave. We are sponsored today by DecisionLink, who's the value selling sponsor of Sales Community. Dave, I think you mentioned you may not know DecisionLink, but I think you knew Tim Page a little bit, right, from the VCE days?
Yep.
So really cool company. So they basically automate a lot of the value selling aspect of things, which is so critical these days, because at the end of the day, unless you can really justify what the value is in your solution, you're probably not going to sell the solution. And we have from Molly, she chimes in. Hi, Dave. Hi, Randy. Great to see you together. Should be interesting. Absolutely. So Molly jumped the gun on us. Thanks. So we have this being broadcasted live on LinkedIn Live. So you can see us or hear us. We cannot see you, but as Molly just did, feel free to post any comments or any questions. And as always, we have Tucker behind the scenes who's helping us pull everything up. So by way of introduction, Dave lives in the Boston area in Harvard, not Harvard University, but Harvard, Mass. Has lots of interests, I know for sure, great family person. Is an avid skier when his back is not out, and also gardening. We're also LPs in a venture fund called Stage 2 Capital, which is great. And I've got a few intros here that I'd like to read off. One is from John Furrier, who's his co-founder and partner in crime. Says, Dave is co-founder and co-CEO and co-host of theCUBE. For SiliconANGLE Media. Dave has a popular podcast called Breaking Analysis, and is also known for coverage of enterprise technology for decades. I'd say the leader in that for sure. Dave and John founded SiliconANGLE, theCUBE, to track the top enterprise tech trends and companies. Dave Donatelli, who likewise we've known for a long time, says for more than 35 years, Dave has had his hand on the pulse of the enterprise IT industry. He is a trusted advisor to the best tech CEOs, senior executives, and end user customers, and CIOs. Dave has earned this trust through years of sound and rational analysis of our industry and important technical trends. He is a great interviewer who is known for probing questions and conversational style with the leaders of the industry. He's also a great guy who has earned all of his success through hard work. You got to frame that one, right?
Wow. Donatelli, thank you. And John.
There you go. And Chris Riley, who's currently president of Data Robot, another fantastic executive, says Dave is one of the most insightful and forward-thinking analysts in the business. He has so many connections that allow him to get past the marketing hype and into the realities of how companies are performing and positioned in the market. Hats off to his success. So pretty good. So mine's going to pale in comparison, but we're kind of reflecting back, but I think it was back in the 80s, I was at EMC, you're at IDC. So going back probably 36 years. And you were the analyst back for this small area called storage. And who knew it was going to be what it was going to be. And certainly you've gone on to do it, have an amazing career. And in spite of that, you've always remained very authentic, real, helpful, and responsive. Always will respond to me in a heartbeat, for anything. So appreciate that friendship. And if there's a guilt by association, we've got over 1,300 mutual connections on LinkedIn as well. So anyway, So with that, let's jump into the questions so we can help the audience gain fantastic insight from you. So starting off maybe with your first job. Your first job was at IDC, right? Back in I don't know if we're allowed to say what, 1983.
Yeah, I joined IDC in 1983. Actually, my very first job, I was a programmer for a firm in Schenectady, a little firm called GE. And I was a math and computer science major, and I realized right away that I was not a good programmer. They were having me debug code, and I was like, this sucks. So I left and moved back home and just was bouncing around, and the job market wasn't great at the time. Stumbled into IDC, got a job at the lowest level, just one rung above the mailroom. And then kind of worked my way up over the course of 15 years, became a senior vice president and, working on the executive staff, had global responsibility, built a $70 million business basically from scratch and cobbling together a bunch of internal resources as well. And then left there in 1999 in the height of the dot-com bubble. And then, I started a CIO consultancy and did that for a while. I had a software company and, then started Wikibon and SiliconANGLE with my business partner, John Furrier.
Awesome. So this is, I think, about the 13th year with theCUBE. So maybe we can go through kind of each one of your impressive pieces. So SiliconANGLE focuses on news.
Yep. So SiliconANGLE.com is our news site. Yep, that's right.
Okay, and then what type of things are there?
Okay, so SiliconANGLE.com, it's news of the day. We do earnings releases. We do in-depth reports. A guy named Paul Gillen used to be the editor-in-chief of Computer World, works for us there. He's our managing editor. I publish there pretty much every week. So it's a great news site. We get about 500,000, visitors a month. So it's respectable, really focused on enterprise tech. So that's cool. And then the other site is thecube.net. You go there, it's all our events. We have event software that we've written. We host everything with our own software. And we run, 70, 80 events a year, most of which we used to be physically at. Now, of course, with COVID, most of those actually are remote and hybrid. And then wikibon.com has become kind of my personal research blog. It's where I started what I used to call Gartner Group for free, as a way to just be seen, collaborate, work with IT folks, and get some good data out there.
That's great. And then also you've got something coming up, SuperCloud, right? SuperCloud
Next
World?
week, January 17th, supercloud.world. We've got speakers from Walmart, Zhamak Dagani speaking. She created Data Mesh. Speakers from Saks, Western Union, Mercury Financial, a number of other practitioners and technologists. It's talking about the future of cloud and data.
Oh, that's great. So long story short, I would characterize it in maybe the old school speak of probably, back in the day, you mentioned Computer World, you had these, actual paper trade rags, right, that you have to read and catch up. So you have all that online. So I'd say kind of the best one-stop shop to know what's going on in the industry and announcements and trends. So that's kind of an important facet. So anybody watching should know that. And what's also cool is you can do search. So if you're going to be talking to a certain company about whatever, search on whatever those different topics are. And then also from an event perspective, you not only leverage having CEOs of various companies, which gives them amazing PR, but then also you'll go to some of their industry conferences. So VMworld, AWS, reInvent, kind of all those. And then you kind of host that and kind of help them get that, whether it's a sales kickoff or user group or industry conference, just help get that, spread across the world as well, correct?
Yeah, across enterprise tech, we have a very wide observation space. Cloud, data, infrastructure, crypto and blockchain, applications. And so we, like you said, historically, we've gone to events. We did 70, 80 events a year physically, bringing our set, lights, camera, action, and reporting. And then now we do, many more virtually. So I have this unique combination of I was an analyst, and then I was, sat on Computer World's board. I always worked with, at IDC, I worked with IDG, which was Computer World and Info World and Mac World and all those publications. So I have an affinity for that. What now, they used to be, like you said, newspapers, and then everything went online. And so it's just an interesting combination when I met John Furrier of of news and reporting with the analysis world, AR and PR, if you will, coming together. And we created this digital product, which has been booming.
Awesome. And I love kind of the catch-all. I don't know where it came from, but the ESPN of tech, right? And that kind of is a good way to encapsulate everything, right? Whether it's, this minute or what has happened or what might be happening.
That's always been our North Star, is build the ESPN of tech, serve an audience, serve a community, and figure out a way to make some money at it while you're doing it.
Oh, that's great. So usually we've got more, I'll say, not that you're not a tech executive, but it's an interesting platform. So we talk about kind of the go-to-market, what you do and how you do it. So how do you sell? I'm sure it's, mostly I'll say, call-ins and referrals per se, but how do you sell?
Yeah, we have a relatively small sales team of 4 direct sales individuals, direct as in both internal and external. But the vast majority of our business is inbound. We really, to kind of explain it to you, we have great product market fit. theCUBE is really sticky. Yeah. It's an unbelievable product. We're still honestly sorting out, okay, what's the scale model? You need production resources, which we have, and we've got 2 studios, one in Palo Alto, one in Boston. And we're just sort of ratcheting up the talent, the hosts. So you need that kind of host capability. And we've done shows all over the world. And we're really interested in scaling the business. We've grown very nicely, 30% the last couple of years. We think we can continue that trajectory. And we've really got to step up the go-to-market piece. So maybe I could use your help doing that.
There you go. Perfect. And basically your kind of ideal customer profile is tech companies, and I would imagine kind of CEOs, CROs, CMOs.
Yeah, CMO, as I would say, is the primary target for smaller companies. It's the CEO interaction. And then for the really super large companies, while we have relationships with the CEOs, our buyer will either be somebody in marketing, somebody in product marketing. Oftentimes it's an event person or a partner salesperson, the BD people, because the partners love to come on theCUBE. They love to get their word out. And so the business model has really evolved, Randy, where companies like AWS actually will resell theCUBE as part of their MPO process. Wow. Snowflake does something similar. Companies like Dell, HPE, they really have made theCUBE an extension of their event offerings.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So kind of like a partner, go-to-market, indirect partner model almost.
Absolutely. We do rev share. We try to make theCUBE profitable for our customers.
Wow. That's great. And then it's not only kind of, I'll say, the legacy big companies that you mentioned, but also, smaller upcoming companies, before talking about like a Tackle.io as an example too. So you kind of cover small to big, right?
Absolutely. Companies like Starburst, Chaos Search, our friend, Ed Walsh, they're a customer. Platform 9. I mean, I'd say, last year we probably got 110 new logos. And probably 109 of those were small companies.
Wow. So it sounds like utopia for anybody who wants to go into sales. So you got to try and figure out how do you juggle all this inbound. So many companies today are trying to just focus on getting the top of funnel going, but it looks like you kind of have the fish jumping in the boat. Do you have openings that you're kind of hiring for now?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a sales job in the East Coast. Well, everything's virtual these days, and one as well on the West Coast. So we got 2 openings in sales, and then a number of others in production and admin, and again, as I said, trying to grow the company and keep that trajectory going up and to the right.
Great. And do you have those posted somewhere?
Yeah, they should be on LinkedIn. They're in the process of being posted, I should say. They will be up on LinkedIn shortly. We're working with a couple of headhunters to help us find some good people. So that's in process.
Hello.
Yeah. We got to talk afterwards, right?
Yeah. But for the hire, obviously you've got a bunch of different company sites here. So is there one primary that would be hiring kind of first those openings that you mentioned, or is it really all of them?
Yeah, sort of the back end. So those websites are our properties. I mean, essentially we're organized around, we've got a product called Signal, which is a paid service, and that people come into our studio and we package up, videos, and we run programs and we run events. We have the theCUBE flagship, which goes out to events. We extract the signal from the noise. That's where we got the ESPN of tech. We have an entire business around ecosystems, AWS being our largest ecosystem. And then we have another emerging business in events, running our own events. And that's what supercloud.world is. You should go to supercloud.world and register. You'll see what's happening next week. It's an awesome, this will be our second one that we did. We did one last August 9th out of our Palo Alto studio, live with on-demand or pre-recorded sessions worked in with live commentary from the in-studio.
Crazy, that's great. And for anybody that's considering to come work there with you, what would you say is special about the culture, or why would they want to work there? Obviously, you've got amazing exposure into the latest and greatest of tech and trends and everything else.
Yeah, so we're very external focused in terms of just wanting to create the best content possible. We serve an audience of practitioners and technologists, and also we have obviously clients that are sponsors of ours, and they're both equally important. So if you have a passion for creating great content and or serving a client through helping them package content and getting messages out to their community, and we move fast, we're really diverse. We have to do a lot of stuff at the last minute because that's the way big tech companies work. And we turn that into a feature. We move really fast, and we can accommodate, a lot of last minute audibles.
Oh, that's great. So moving on, one of the title topics is the future of data in the cloud. So maybe just to level set, maybe kind of how do you define data and how do you define the cloud?
Oh, it's interesting, right? I mean, you and I have been in the data business for a while. You in particular with EMC, data, a bunch of bits that are stored, on disk or flash. Well, data, the definition of data is evolving, and I think it's changing where, data is a fundamental component of organizations' competitive advantage. And I think the problem that most companies have is they get so much data. There's exhaust coming off of transaction systems. There's data in analytics systems and data warehouses. It's strewn about the cloud. It's out on the edge. And they just can't harness it all. And so what they've generally done is said, all right, we're going to shove it all into a big centralized platform, Hadoop or an Oracle database or whatever it is. And then we're going to try to get value out of it. And so we're going to hire all these really highly specialized individuals to get data out. They'll do reporting for salespeople, or they'll identify analytics, or they'll do real-time, ad targeting. And it's just been really difficult to find the right people to do that. Those centralized teams generally don't have the expertise in the business. They got expertise in the technology. So success has been largely defined as, hey, the tech works. It's not been defined as we're getting maximum business value, and that's changing. And I think the cloud is definitely changing that. It allows people to move faster. It puts data in the hands of business people like ourselves, salespeople, line of business people, product people, and this notion of self-service architecture, but the technology being such that it allows the data to be shared safely, securely, in a governed manner is something that is really coming to the fore in the 2020s.